Buenas noches, mi gente, and welcome to UCTV, brought to you by Coalicion, Unida. UCTV was started with a goal, una meta, to entertain, educate, and unite during a time when we couldn't leave the house because of the pandemic. But now, when we are finally seeing the light, we decided to add more fabulousness to the show. And you are a part of it. So if you're enjoying our show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single episode. Yo soy Faye, what? And today we take a look at the latest headlines and topics affecting the LGBTQ community. But I get to talk about these topics with two of my favorite friends on this planet. And then we're gonna have that wonderful segment that I know you guys love. What do you mean? So let's get started. So there's so much going on in the world these days. Sometimes it's hard to keep up. And with many in the gay community, our chosen family is our soundboard, right? It's who we ask the questions that we might not ask others. Our chosen family will always be real with us. And you might get a backhand every once in a while, right? But it's the price that we have to pay sometimes. So today we're going to talk a little bit about this, a little bit about that. But whatever we talk about, we're going to be real and from the heart and in a safe place. So some might call it gossiping, but I prefer to call it girl talk. So vamos a empezar. Our guest today. So my first guest is Shay Zaret. So we can call her Shay, all right? So December 2020 marked both a personal and professional transition for Ms. Shay. No stranger to the political, nonprofit, and LGBTQ plus work of South Florida. She came out to her family, friends, and the community as transgender. Wow. Since then, she has been the guest anchor on Queer News Tonight. That's the show that I'm on Monday and Wednesdays on It's Happening Out Network. And she has also appeared as a panelist for Florida Grand Opera's Community Conversations series. And she continues to volunteer and help mobilize action surrounding trans rights and trans youth. Professionally, Shay now proudly serves as the Director of Development at Pridelines in Miami. Let's welcome Miss Shay! Woo! And also with us, there she is. Hi, Miss Shay.
Great to be here.
You look stunning, diva. You look beautiful.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not wearing any pants, but I know you probably are. Anyway. Next on our show, we have one of my dearest and closest friends. Her name is Rachel Simpson, and she is no stranger to the show. You probably have seen her on one of our episodes before, and she is just an amazing human being, and I'm so blessed to call her a bestie. So Miss Rachel Simpson is just an incredible person with more than 25 years of experience in the field of addiction and mental health. A psychiatric nurse, a counselor, and interventionist, a recovery coach, a public speaker, and an educator. She has a very personal story of losing her baby brother to addiction and has dedicated her life and career to helping others suffering with addiction. She has a private practice as coach for life recovery. She's a nurse manager for a psychiatric facility and a clinician for an in-home treatment provider. Please help me welcome Miss Rachel Simpson.
Hello.
Hola. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, girls. I'm good. Looking good.
Listen, thank you both.
Is fierce today.
Listen, did you see Shay's necklace? My God, Rachel. Wow.
I'm seeing it. I'm wanting it.
I'm stealing it. Okay, no, I won't go there. So welcome y bienvenidas, muchachas, to UCTV. I'm so happy that both of you girls said yes. Thank you. I know that I kind of voluntold you, but you still had to say yes, right? So
does anybody say no to Faye and Liv?
No, we love you.
Not in my world.
Hey, she speaks from personal experience. So what we're going to do is that, there's a bunch of stuff going on in the world. So we're just going to, have a little kiki about like some of the stuff going on and how it affects our community. So we're going to start off with the first 100 days of Biden in office. So President Biden has come through on so many promises to the LGBTQ community. And here's just a quick run through to remind you. He reversing restrictions on transgender individuals and allowing them to return to an inclusive policy of military service. Appointing openly LGBTQ individuals to the administration, including the first openly LGBTQ cabinet member and the first Senate-confirmed transgender official, and committing to diversity and hiring across the federal government. ending the global gag rule, which barred government aid to any international organization that provided abortion information, referrals, or services, slashing funding from key providers of HIV assistance and other healthcare services globally. Was something that was going on because of the Trump administration. Revoking the Trump administration's order that limited diversity training in the federal government, rescinding a Trump-era proposal to gut the Equal Access Rule, which explicitly prohibits discrimination in HUD funding housing. God, what else did he do? He did so much to combat coronavirus and got all those vaccines rolled out in like record time. I can go on and on as to a bunch of stuff that Biden has done in the 100 days in office. What do you guys think? How is our new president doing?
I feel like I can breathe a little bit easier. I mean, just in his address to Congress, acknowledging me, a trans person, trans youth, trans individuals across the country, to hear those words out of the president's mouth in a positive, supportive, and uplifting way, it brought tears to my eyes. It really was affirming in the best ways possible and beautiful. And I know there's a lot of work to be done, but to know that there's someone in the White House, a team of people that are supportive, affirming, and diverse is really, really incredible. And it gives me that hope that I've been wanting for the last long time.
I get chills right now with you just saying that, Shay, because, you know, if you didn't catch the address last week, make sure that you go and check it out on YouTube, guys, because, I mean, he was talking to the LGBTQ community. He literally said, in the LGBTQ community, I see you. I stand with you. To all those transgender people, trans youth, your president has your back. Wow, to hear the I mean, because I don't know about you girls, but I have PTSD from Trump still. I'm like the abused woman that he like smacked around, you know? So to have a president that actually is like endearing and forthcoming with his empathy and his love for our community, it blows me away. What do you think, Rachel?
Well, it reminds me of the many conversations you and I had when, right before the election, when we were very concerned about what it was going to look like for our marriages. I mean,
yes.
As two lesbian women with intact legal marriages, I think that, you know, we talked about it ad nauseum. Were we still going to be married? Were our rights still going to be, you know, what they were prior? And that was a huge concern for us. So I know that there was a lot of relief after the election, and, you know, we sat with bated breath, and our country finally did, you know, what we needed it to do, and that was a blessing. And yeah, I believe that Biden is putting, you know, all the power behind his words, and that's what matters to me. It's, you know, I know that politicians talk, but what's important to me is action. And what I'm finally feeling like, it's whether it's trans or whether it's, you know, gay rights, whether it's women's right, whether it's Black lives. I mean, everything matters to this president, and that's what matters to me. I mean, we're all human beings, and, you know, I don't believe in us being divided by our skin, by who we sleep with. And I feel the same way as Shay. Like, after the election, I was like, I'm safe. I'm okay. I'm not going to have to worry that my rights are going to be terminated. My marriage is going to be terminated. And we just keep going forward and keep getting stronger. And, you know, again, the word is safety. I can't say that any more important than that to us is to feel safe in our country and to be able to be exactly who we are and know that our government stands behind that. Our president of the United States feels like he's in our homes. I mean, at least that's how it feels for me when he's talking. And that makes me feel really, really amazing to be in this country at this time. I think we did great.
Yeah, no, I have to completely agree. And no, and you're absolutely right. And I remember those conversations that you and I were having because they were scary times. And I feel that once Biden was elected, even though, like I said, we were like kind of like that abused partner, we still were like, well, let's see what happens. But we began to breathe differently, right? Like it was just like I don't know if it's a sigh of relief or just breathing differently. Like I didn't wake up every day to see, oh no, what the heck did Trump say now? Or what rights is he trying to take from me now? And, you know, what for the during the address, like you said, Rachel, he mentioned everybody. I don't think that there wasn't anybody that he didn't mention in some way, shape, or form, right?
He stands for it all, yeah. mental health, addiction, foreign policy, vaccines, pandemics. He understands what this country needs. And, again, for all of us, certainly a sigh of relief to know that we are now, again, respected as human beings, and we can walk proud and we don't have to worry. I mean, there's still a lot to worry about in this country, but we don't have, our president supporting that breakdown. So I think that we've got really amazing things to look forward to.
It's incredible. And Shay, I'm going to direct this to you. It's like, I remember when Obama first said transgender, and I think it was like 3 years in or something like that. Please don't quote me. If you want to send hate mail, send it to Luis Flores. All right. So, and I remember that it was a big to do in our community. Oh my God, Obama said trans, and for Biden, he says it like nothing. He talks to us like we're sitting at the table finally.
Yes.
Do you agree with that statement, Ms. Shay?
I do. I really do. It's one thing to, well, I completely agree. I think that to feel like your life matters to someone that's helping, influence policy, that's meeting with world leaders, that can stand up and really take positions, it matters. And what was so frustrating before was feeling like at any moment you never knew what was going to happen. And at least with this administration, not everyone, maybe people have their differences on beliefs and policy opinions, but I feel like now we have an administration that is going to be accountable, that is not going to just make up facts and make up misgivings and missayings, and finally just engage in the policy and politics that will help continue to move our country forward in the best ways.
Do you guys remember Trump saying that he was the president that did more for the LGBTQ community? I can't believe that those words would come out of his mouth, like for real, and like we fire wouldn't start.
Delusion are equivalent, so we don't have to pay mind to that anymore. He's just delusional, and always was delusional. So we might as well use bleach as well, to eradicate
and inject it,
COVID.
right?
So that's.
Well, and and we right now exactly, and we're lucky to have you, Rachel, because you're not only a medical nurse, but you also deal with mental illness and stuff like that. And I'm not asking you to diagnose Trump, but in your expert opinion, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, or what do you think?
Total sociopath, total narcissistic, borderline, insecure sociopath. He was never about this country. He was only about himself. He is just typical narcissist all over the place. Textbook narcissist. He's a liar. He's a phony. He's a fake. Don't, mix my words either. He's just, he is.
Don't filter yourself now, Rachel.
There's a lot of pathology there. And I think for a lot of people, sitting in my shoes, being able to look at that and say, this is our world leader right now. This guy is a psychopath. Was really scary. I mean, because other people looking in would be like, yeah, okay, this guy's, like you say, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in layman's terms, but he's a really sick man. And, being at the forefront of our country and the helm of this boat for so long, that was really a terrifying ride. And that's how I feel. So, PTSD, here we are. But again, bringing it back and not having to, look back so much is that I think that Biden has come out, really sharp and really is just packing a lot of power behind his words and doing the things that he says. And, I look forward to, eradicating all the damage that he's done and moving forward. And again, like, being able to breathe as a human being is not something that we all got to do like the rest of the world, and we should, because we're a nation of human beings. We're not a nation of color and who we sleep with. We're a nation of human beings, and that's what I think is really important in this administration is that's what they look at. Kamala.
Oh, I love her, by the way. Oh, and her suits are like fire, right? Like fire. Yeah. And one more thing before I move on to the next topic. Trump didn't have a dog in the White House. I always thought that was weird. I don't trust too many people that don't have. Right, Rachel? You know what I was gonna say. Say it. Finish my word.
A person who doesn't like a dog. And if your dog doesn't like them, even better. And I'm sure our dogs wouldn't have liked them.
Anything, a cat, something, some animal in the White House aside from him.
Aside from him, no, Rachel knows me so well, but it's the truth. And now we have Major and Champ in the White House, and they are gorgeous pups, and I just love to see them. I follow them on Instagram. Yes, I do. All right, next. So the most visible trans person in the world is Caitlyn Jenner, right? And Caitlyn Jenner says transgender girls should not be allowed to play girl sports, and that she wants to run for governor of California. Caitlyn Jenner, the former Olympian and reality TV star, announced last week that she plans to run to replace California Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom, who I love, in an unexpected recall election later this year. What do you guys think about that? Shay, let's start with you as the trans person on the show today. Is she a representation for you guys? What do you think about her running for office? Does it matter? Does it mean something?
I think it matters for a couple of reasons. It proves that people will do what's politically advantageous. They'll take positions and take advantage of positions that allow them to, like she's doing, run for office and have credibility with a certain segment of the population, a certain electorate, if you will. But it's so disappointing. It's such a missed opportunity. And I think what it also shows for us is that everyone that has a high profile or a public profile, we can't put them all on pedestals. We can't expect that they're all going to be a role model in the ways that we want them to be, which is why visibility is so important. They can't be the only one, and we have to elevate other voices, inclusive voices. And it's sad. I think about her family, I think about her children, and I think about what she's suggesting that other children, trans youth, have to go through. And I just can't imagine that as a parent, that's what she would want for her own family. So the fact that she's taking positions that jeopardize the mental health and stability of young people is disgusting, plain and simple.
Rachel, I'm going to talk to you now. So, we all know that when Caitlyn was Bruce, she was married to Kris Jenner, which is the hugest marketing diva in the world, if you really want to think about it, okay? Her daughter had a sex tape, and from that sex tape, look what blew up and made millions and millions and millions of dollars. Do you think that Caitlyn Jenner learned something from her ex-wife, and this is just marketing, just a way to keep relevant? Because we haven't really talked about Caitlyn in a couple of months, a couple of years.
I think she's an opportunist as well. I think she's taking a very, very, very public platform and being very selfish with it. I don't think she stands. It's not for me to say, but of course I have an opinion. I don't think she represents what the rest of our trans family needs and supports. And she has a platform because she has a lot of access to resources. And, as a Republican, which makes me gag as an LGBTQ, member of society, as a staunch Republican, that's an oxymoron, if you will. And she doesn't care about, I think, community, which is where we kind of lay our hats, and we care about building up each other. I think this is an opportunity for her to get some attention and play with some big pockets up there, and it's not for what's important. It's really for what is important to her. And I don't believe that it's a platform that serves for our trans community, because I think that it's very hypocritical for her to stand, with that much visibility and have an opportunity, right, to support our community. And she's just taking all of that away. And I think she thinks that, she's going to get a pass as a trans member of society, that she's just going to get that following. And I don't think that that's going to happen. And I think that as, all these things happen in our country, we're learning that we are pretty powerful people. And together we can do a lot of damage and a lot of good. And people aren't scared, and they're not backing down anymore. So I don't think she's going to get very far. And at least that's my hope, because I don't think she represents what's best for our community.
But she does have a platform, though, Rachel. And that's scary. And so, taking off what a little bit from what Rachel said, Shay, she did an interview, I think, for Hannity or somebody yesterday, and she did the interview from the hangar. Like the airport, her airport hangar. Okay, that's where she did the interview from. Because that's where I do that's where I hang out with sure. So she was doing this interview from there. can you relate to, can she relate to the trans community, Shay? Is she one of us? Does she know the plight? Can she even begin to understand what most transgender women have to go through?
No. No.
Okay, you're like, no, but it's simple.
No. Look, everyone with lived experience has their own lived experience. They see it through the privileges that they've had, the struggles that they've had. I can't say what her life has been like and what she went through in all the years that she was in the closet about who she was. But at the same time, from the beginning, she really wasn't doing anything in the community, and to many wasn't someone we were looking to as a trans ally and a trans advocate that was really doing anything to bring support to the community. Now, I will say the show she had on I Am Kate, I think it was called.
Yeah.
What was great about that was it did allow us to see her friends, her support system, people in the trans community who are doing great work, who are really advocating for us overall. But no, I think it's a publicity stunt. I think part of it is that there's someone in her circle that is pushing her to do this, that says if you have these positions and you say these things, you'll get these votes in this base. And I think she's counting on that. And I'm not sure what the end game is, but it's at the cost of people who really need to see positive visibility for their own livelihood, for their own mental health, for their own wellness. And it's a missed opportunity. It's disgraceful. And it's really, really, it's really disappointing to me, honestly. It's such a missed opportunity, but there are other important voices to elevate.
No, of course. I mean, and the reality is, guys, that she might be the only trans person that someone sees. In South Florida, we're blessed that we've got a melting pot of LGBTQ plus, but you go into Middle America and it's not that prevalent. So can she be a bad representation, girls? Like, can she leave a bad taste in people's mouths as to what being a trans person actually is?
I mean, I obviously I think Shay can speak more to that, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, her struggles don't represent, she might have been closeted a little bit longer, but she had access to do all the things that she needed to do when she was ready. Didn't even have to bat an eyelash. I mean,
yeah, she didn't need a GoFund to get her surgery. Right. She didn't need to, become a sex worker to survive because her job, got rid of her because she decided to transition. She didn't have to go through that.
And they made a show about it. I Am Kate.
Right.
So, there she had another opportunity to come out and really be helpful to the community. And I don't think she did that during that show either. And I think that if you remember during the show, there was a lot of discord between her and some of her friends about some of her positions that she would take that were not really accepted by, people that were really close to her. And they were always kind of thrown, at her positioning on things. So I think that says a lot.
Yeah, and I think to that, I don't know her exact age, but when you look at Black and brown trans women, a life expectancy of 34 years old, not making it to their 35th birthday, she's well into her
70. She's 71, yeah.
71. The fact that that's a voice, it's just so sad and disappointing. And it can be a negative representation, but I think overall, when you look at Elliot Page, when you look at other folks that are coming out that acknowledge their privilege, that are saying we need to do more, that are bringing up and kind of amplifying the voices that need to be heard in the communities across this country, that's what I want to see. And you know what? We're not always going to get what we want to see, and we have to acknowledge that. But yeah, I just can't say how disappointing enough it is. It's so sad. It hurts my heart.
We'll be seeing a lot more of her, and stay tuned. So, okay, let's move on. So Pride Month, woo! Pride Month is almost here, yes! Is it too soon to be out and proud? Is it too soon, like Stonewall Pride? I was about to send you a text the other day because I'm going to be broadcasting live from there. So I'm like, Rachel, you got to come with me, So it's happening next month. Prides are beginning. June 19th is Stonewall Pride. New York Pride is going to happen. People are going to do their stuff. Is it too soon?
Well, that's a tricky question. With this new policy that DeSantis just came up with, there's already trouble in the community. So, for example, I was near you last night at that nice little Israeli deli around the corner from your house. And they were arguing inside about the fact that, you know, the patron didn't want to wear their mask, and the establishment said it's our right to enforce this regardless of what you can do outside of here. You know, I think contention is growing again. I think we're not going to reach herd community, you know, everybody in the community being vaccinated. And I think we have to be very careful because people are going to get complacent, and this particular virus can migrate and, you know, develop into another one. And I think we have to be very careful. I think that people are really excited because they have been locked up for so long and that they're just running. But I think we have to be very, very, very careful about how we proceed. And, you know, people still need to get vaccinated. There's like 40 million people right now that are saying no to the vaccine. So we won't have, you know, herd immunization going on, but it's scary. I'm double vaccinated. You're double vaccinated. I have autoimmune issues. I mean, I can get it again. It's, we have to be careful. We have to be careful. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, and the three of us are vaccinated, and the three of us have already gotten our second vaccine, and we're all out of the clear. And my producers here also as well have been vaccinated. And so Shay, I'm going to go to you. I read a poll the other day that it was close to 29% of LGBTQ folks that had taken this poll and had said that they were thinking of not getting vaccinated. You know, I always come from the world where LGBTQ, we're ahead of the game. We're smarter than the average Joe. Why do you think that this high percentage of LGBTQ plus people are thinking of maybe not getting vaccinated? I think they're calling it vaccination hesitancy or something like that.
Yeah, it's that vaccination hesitancy. You know, I'm not an expert on it, but I think when people have the opportunity to say no to something, and that kind of no is reinforced in different parts of social media or ways in which they get their news and information, and couple that, as Rachel mentioned, with our state and DeSantis's new order kind of lifting these provisions, it gives people an out to say, you know what, no, I'm good. I'm going to wait, or I'm going to see what happens. And, you know, as soon as I could get vaccinated, I was, and so is my family. You know, I trust the science. I trust the experts. And, you know, for me, it was the right choice for me. And I wish more people would take a look at it and make that choice as a tool to help keep them healthy, to help keep them safe, to help keep others healthy and safe. I saw that, I think it was Jimmy Kimmel, that really funny and informative, all the doctors, nurses kind of saying, hey, like, get vaccinated. And I really think that we should all do it. And I think in the LGBTQ community, you know, I'm not sure why those numbers are higher like that, but I think, again, it's when people can say no to something and they're seeing other people go out, not get vaccinated, be out at the clubs, at the bars, doing their thing. I think it gives them cover and comfort to say, no, I'm good. I'm not going to do it either.
Yeah. Well, you know that when we were going through the election, right, a lot of families were split down the middle politically. Like, I have friends that are still not talking to some of their family members because of that time. Do you think that, Rachel, I'm going to ask you this. Do you think that there'll be a time that we'll get to a point where it'll be like, let's stop hanging out with that person because they're not vaccinated? Like, will the vaccines divide us as a community?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that for those of us that got vaccinated, and I mean, as much as I did it for my own safety and well-being, I did it for my community. I did it so that I'm not an added, you know, a barrier to people being healthy, and that I'm not somebody else who's going to transmit, you know, the virus should I get it. So as much as I did it for myself, I did it for our community, and we're supposed to think like that. And I think there's going to be a lot of divide because people feel that it's not fair. You know, that, you know, if you decide not to get the vaccine, that means that you then become susceptible, obviously, to getting COVID and still giving it to me after I've gotten my vaccine. And I'm the one that's willing to take that on and, you know, go with whatever possible risks there might be. So, I mean, it's already dividing people. I know, I have friends that have family members that, yes, some of them have received the vaccine and the other ones aren't. And it's like, well, they're not coming over and I'm not going to see them. And, it's going to be the new normal. There's always going to be a new normal. And this is just something that we're going to have to deal with.
No, totally. And I agree. And there is, I agree that there will be some kind of a divide, just because I already know friends that are like, let's have a get together. Oh, we can't invite her because she doesn't.
Bring your card. Show your card at the red velvet rope.
All right, so let's move on. So we were talking about Pride Month, and Pride Month is almost here. So which flag would you be flying and why? So the wonderful rainbow flag made by Gilbert Baker, an openly gay activist, back in 1974. Baker met Harvey Milk, who we all know, an influential gay leader, who 3 years later challenged Baker to come up with a symbol of pride for the gay community, and then poof, that beautiful flag was born. Then, or maybe you would want to be flying the inclusive flag that was designed in 2018 by graphic designer Daniel Cassar. And he added a 5-color chevron to the classic rainbow flag to place a greater emphasis on inclusion and progression. The flag also includes black and brown stripes to represent marginalized LGBTQ plus communities of color, along with colors of pink, light blue, and white, which are used on the transgender pride flag. So which flag would you be waving proudly? And there is no wrong answer. And why?
I love this inclusive flag. I love to see the colors. I love to feel like we're getting everybody together. That's that unity I love to see. That's that symbolic beauty in our community. And growing up as a young kid, when I would see those flags outside of businesses or in the community, I knew that was a place for me. I knew that was a safe place. And so the more representation we have, the colors, I don't think it's meant to disgrace what came before. I think it's meant to evolve and reflect where we're going, who we are, the fabric literally of our society and of our community. And that is really important. And I love it. I'll be proudly flying and waving that.
Rachel?
I agree. If I would take the same flag, throw some stars on it, it would just represent everything that we need in our country. Division for me is difficult because, I know it sounds corny, but I've never been somebody who has seen color or, identifies people by, their choices or their behaviors. I mean, I'm just a lover of humanity. So, the bigger, the better, the more, the prouder. And I love the flag that has the inclusion for all of us. And for me, it just brings us back to human condition. The fact that we even have to designate flags, to who we are innately as human beings is, if you look at it, it's kind of sad in the sense we should all be under the same umbrella. There should not have to be any need to kind of dissect, but that's how we are. So, again, I agree. I love that flag, and it just stands for everybody for me. And I'm really happy that we have that.
Yeah, me too. I have to. I'm in total agreement with both of you. There was a huge debate about which flag and disrespecting the history, and I really didn't think that we were disrespecting it. I thought we were evolving. Back in the day, it was just white gay guys. That was it, right? And that of course there were but at the forefront of our protests were what? Trans women of color. So we started adding these letters and being more and more inclusive. It just would make sense to fly the new flag and be more and more inclusive. They want to add more colors, go right ahead. Like Rachel said, you want to bedazzle it and add more people, okay. That's what we're supposed to do, is be all inclusive. Yeah. So all right, let's talk a little bit about that awful last year that we went through with COVID, okay? Like I said before, I'm a close friend of Rachel, so she kind of worked throughout the whole pandemic, but she still was affected like many of us, So we're girls, and for those months when we were in quarantine and nothing was open, it was tough. I mean, I don't know about you girls, but I was sending texts to my Botox lady, Señora, ¿cómo está? ¿Todo está bien? I would send a text to my hair lady, my lash lady, my tan lady. I have a lot of ladies. Anyway, but I was sending them all like texts like, hey, I miss you, I remember, Rachel, when I had like 2 eyelashes left? Remember?
I certainly do.
So what did you guys miss the most during that time, girly wise? Like, what was it that you couldn't do that you totally missed during that time?
Well, for me,
yeah.
I came out in December of 2020, so well into the pandemic. But I think for me, it's
Can't hear it.
sometimes it's difficult to go through a transition or start a transition. And for me, it's kind of a blessing and a curse at the same time. It gave me that time, it gave me that space, but then the human connections that were fading out, the physical touch, the hesitating to shake a hand or to fist to elbow bump. I mean, all of that kind of hesitation, it changes our social interactions, and it created kind of a hesitancy to be close, a hesitancy for hugs. And yeah, when things close, our creature comforts, the things that kind of affirm and validate who we are in the best ways, because it's fun to do these things, to go shopping, to do your nails, to get your feet done, all those different things, your Botox, your eyelashes, and to kind of not have that consistently or in a new way that you can't access it as easily. Definitely, yeah, it impacts you. It kind of messes with you a little bit. And, it's good to start seeing those things come back again for sure.
Definitely, definitely. And it was a tough time all around, and I have to say that it probably was a little tougher for Rachel because, she is in the mental illness field and the addiction field, and I am in recovery. It's not, I don't hide it from anybody. 6.5 years sober, and I know that during COVID, a lot of people didn't have that fellowship, didn't have those people to help them during that really tough time. They couldn't go to meetings and stuff like that. And a lot of people relapsed, a lot of people overdosed, and Rachel unfortunately dealt with a lot of death during that time. And, when we would have these conversations, and I'm like, take care of yourself, Rachel, make sure that you're okay, So, Rachel, how did you practice self-care during that time? How did you take moments for you so you wouldn't, lose it?
The question is, did I? Obviously, yeah, you were kind of by my side as the pandemic hit, and everybody else was not working or being laid off, and my work was just climbing, and it was so busy because people were in just so much trouble. And I guess the way that I approach what I do all the time is that I have to show up. People need help and people need support, and I think who I am, and that's what I do. And at the end of the day, I just make sure that I'm okay and I have what I need and I have my people to speak to, and I ask for help. Something that I always talk about on the show and otherwise is, one of the hardest things that happens for us as humans is it's very difficult to ask for help, even when you're healthy to begin with. So can you imagine when you're not healthy, having to ask for help? And that was just something that I needed to do. I needed to connect. I mean, if I had to say what I missed the most, it was just being around you and being around our friends and being able to be in the backyard and put our feet up and play with the dogs. And, it wasn't anything grand and it wasn't anything, out of this world. It was just really just being next to the people that you loved and
the basics is what we missed.
Basics.
Right. So, just like everybody, there were harder days, there were better days, there were really tough days. And I just made sure that I got my needs met and asked for help and turned to my friends like you and the rest of my crew. And I just got support.
That's what we had to do. And, something that, I guess, I don't know if you would put it under the umbrella of self-care, but sometimes you need to get out of your head, right? Like this will go on and on and on. What if we're always in the future instead of in the present. So I would binge watch stuff, because I'm sorry, I watched Tiger King. It is what it is. All right. Yeah. That woman put her husband in the wood chipper. Yeah. She killed him, anyway, what did you guys binge watch during that time? Or is there something that you binge watched that you're maybe embarrassed about, but at that moment you needed it because it took you somewhere else?
I watched every housewife ever known to man. And basically when you said, what did you watch? I wanted to just say yes.
Yeah, me too. Yes.
Yeah. There was not much. I think we talked about it. You know, there was not much that we hadn't seen. I watched things that I never would have watched. You know, but
Yes,
I watched it all.
I'm with
Shay,
Rachel.
Shay, what did you watch? You know, or were you on OnlyFans the whole time? No.
I was like Rachel. I went back and I was watching My Housewives. I was watching Tiger King. I watched a couple. There was like a Vanessa Hudgens. She's like a baker, but then her twin was like a princess. I don't know. Lifetime movie, Hallmark Channel
again.
High School Musical. You know, Netflix was definitely a great a great resource during the pandemic.
It definitely was. All right, well, ladies, my last question, and then I'm gonna let you guys go. Which, I mean, we could talk for freaking hours between the three of us. De verdad. How can we, as women, do more for the LGBTQ community? What can we be doing right now? I'll start with Shay.
Supporting each other, communicating, holding space for each other, and just acknowledging that we have so much in common, that we unify. You know, Faye, you and I talk about this, that there's an opportunity for us to really come together in the community and really, you know, beyond support, it's just, you know, seeing, I say this a lot lately, but our shared humanity, that, you know, I am because of you. So much of who we are and how we are is through our relationships with others, through our connection and our conversation. And I just love being a part of things like this and seeing you do your thing, because these conversations, our voices, our perspectives, they bring us together and they allow us to connect, support, and inspire each other.
Miss Rachel?
I mean, I agree. I think Shay is my bookend. So this is what we'll do going forward. I agree. I think platforms like this are super important because people get to hear that they're not alone. You know, it's easy to look in from the outside and say, well, they have their little clique of friends, and, you know, you see people out. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know what people are suffering, you know, behind their Facebook image and their Instagram pictures. You really don't have any idea. So just, you know, being able to be honest and transparent and say, you know, I suffer too, and this is what I needed, and this is how I asked for help. And again, platforms like this make all the difference, because our community really has lacked, you know, over the years, these really visible platforms. And it's because of, you know, people like you, Faye, more than anybody, that, you know, has really taken this opportunity when COVID hit, especially, to say, listen, you know what, we're going to talk about what we need and what you need and find out how we can help you. So just keep doing what we're doing, keep doing what you're doing, and making sure that people have access to resources is really important, and finding out what people need. You know, we can assume a lot of the time, but it's important to make sure that we understand what people really need.
Oh, that's
and showing
perfect.
up.
And showing up. And, you know, and with that, I'm going to ask you each to just like say a final statement to an LGBTQ out there that maybe is not supported, maybe doesn't have the wonderful chosen family like you two are to me. What would you tell them? Shay, I'll start with you.
Trans women are women. You are loved, supported, and seen. Our voices, whether we can speak up or not, or have an opportunity to be visible, that we are here to be that visibility for you. If you cannot at this time, there are resources and people that work every single day to see you, to find you, and to encourage and empower you. We love you, and that is love and hope and encouragement. You're valid. You are, and I love you.
That was beautiful. Miss Rachel?
And I'm going to say, you know, don't assume because we don't look alike that we don't understand each other, and never miss an opportunity to kind of, you know, be open and transparent with people around you, to let them know the things that you do need, and know that there are people that are genuine, and we are here to show up for you, and we are here to make a difference. And no matter what your preference and who you are, and no matter what you look like, I agree. You are loved. You are valued. You are important. You are community. You are what makes this earth go around and round. We're all part of that. Nobody's better, nobody's less than. We are all equal, and we all deserve to, have people there for us and to be there for each other.
That was so perfect. Thank you, girls. I love you, my girls. I love you too. I love you too so much. Make sure that you follow Rachel Simpson and also Shay Zaret on social media, on all the Instagram and Facebooks that you can find them. There are empowered women doing big things. You want to be friends with these two girls. Trust me. I love you guys, and I will have you. I will force you to be on my show again in the future. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. I love those girls. They were awesome. Whew, wow, some intense conversations, but conversations that need to be had, right? We can't be afraid to have these conversations. We just really don't. So now this week, we have a special announcement from our partners at Caoba. Yes, Caoba, which is part of Unity Coalition, Coalition Unida. So Caoba informs and enlightens same-gender loving men of color on issues of health, wellness, and prevention across South Florida, and helps to unite and heal all communities of color from trauma, stigma, and discrimination. So here are my brothers from Unity Coalition and Caoba, John and Kashai, to tell you a little bit about Caoba.
Hello, hola mi gente. My name is John Buckley.
Hello everybody, my name is Kashai Chad.
And we are
Caoba.
We're super excited and happy to share with you our vision and goals for 2021. As we relaunch Caoba, we want you to know what it means and what we stand for. Caoba stems from the Spanish word mahogany. We come in many shapes, colors, and sizes, but we're same gender loving men of color, and Caoba was built to uplift, empower, and unite our community.
Yes, so I have been involved with the nonprofit community for most of my life, and I've worked with Unity Coalition in the past, and I became a board member once I started going to Caoba meetings. I went to the first meeting, and as a member of the community, I felt welcomed, I felt heard and respected and supported. And that is the whole basis of these type of programs. If you are part of this community and you show up and you've done the work, right? But it doesn't stop there. You have the opportunity to also contribute. Speak your mind. If there's something you like or don't like, say it, and we'll do the best we can to see that it is not only heard, but followed through with. Also, if you are a business owner, if you have something to promote, we give you that platform because we believe in supporting local business owners, Black-owned, Hispanic-owned, minority owners. We love you, we see you, and we got you.
Most importantly, we want you to participate. We want your input, we want your voice, and we want to be a platform for everyone. The best way you can follow us and keep abreast of everything that we have going on is through unitycoalition.org, or you can also follow us on Instagram at Caoba Unity.
Yes, and we have so many things in store. We just had our first meeting of 2021. It was a relaunch, and we had some amazing, excellent people who are locals of South Florida who are not only working as best as they can through, the pandemic, but they are also people who love their community, are proud of who they are and own who they are and love the skin they're in. Now, there are some interesting conversations that will be coming up. There's also going to be some pretty dope events that you should just attend because, hello, would we lie? We are here for you, and we can't do any of this without you. We do all of this because not only do we want to provide a different option in another space for same gender loving men of color, but you're dope. You're great. You're good just as you are, and we want that opportunity for you to shine.
And in regards to that, we want our programming to be unique and different than everything else that's out there in our community. So we do want your input and we want you to get involved. You can do that very easily by going to unitycoalition.org, going to our Caoba logo, which will take you to the page. Scroll down, and you'll see a short survey with a couple of questions that we're asking for your input from same gender loving men of color. Takes 5 minutes of your time, and we would love to get your feedback and input.
Yes. So you see how we're sitting here talking to you all and giving you all this love? We needed a little bit in return, so don't be afraid to reach out to us. He gave you the Instagram, but we're ready. We're ready to go to work, and if you're ready, send us a message. We hear you, we see you, we support you, and we got your back.
Thank you, UCTV, and you'll be seeing more of us really soon.
Oh yes, I love UCTV. They need more of us.
I love you guys. Thank you so much, Kashai and John Buckley. You guys are amazing. In Caoba, that's where it's at. Go check them out on Instagram, okay? Caoba Unity. And go to unitycoalition.org and fill out that quick survey, all right? So I know that they definitely want to hear from you. So next on our jam-packed show today, we premiere a brand new segment. Faye, where do you find the time? I don't know. We just do. So Earth Day was a few weeks ago, right? And we had Houston Cypress from the Otter tribe of the families of the Miccosukee tribe and co-founder of the Love of the Everglades movement with us. You remember having him on, right? Well, he inspired us. He inspired us to do more, but not just on Earth Day, every day. And as the universe would have it, our journey to do more led us to this incredible, incredible woman, our new correspondent, Corrine, and our newest segment, A Queer in Nature with Corrine Mariposa. Check it out.
Welcome to Queer Nature. I'm Corrine Mariposa, Director of Miami Seed Share and your queer host to the flora and fauna of South Florida. Today we're talking about the plants that support the butterflies, because aren't we all beautiful queer butterflies? And butterflies know what they want. They exclusively lay their eggs, and the hatched caterpillars will solely feed on the leaves of certain plants. These are called butterfly host plants, and every species of butterfly has its own particular taste. So if you don't have host plants, you don't have butterflies. Today we'll cover a few of these dynamic duos, starting with the Atala butterfly and their host plant called coontie. In the mid-20th century, due to the overharvesting of coontie, the Atala butterfly was believed to have gone extinct. But fortunately, a small colony was able to survive far from people on one of South Florida's barrier islands, and it's likely all Atalas alive today are heirs of this one hidden group. While humans nearly wiped out this gorgeous butterfly, the host plant which feeds its caterpillars is actually quite poisonous. Coontie contains neurotoxins which could harm most animals, but not these cats. They feast on the coontie leaves and incorporate the toxins into their bodies, which gives Atala caterpillars and butterflies a lifelong protection from the predators that would otherwise enjoy them for breakfast. All species of butterfly are picky about where they lay their eggs, and our next triumphant team is no different. It's the native corky stem passiflora and the 4 types of butterflies that lay their eggs nowhere else. These species of butterfly are the zebra longwing, Gulf fritillary, variegated fritillary, and the Julia butterfly. Corky stem passion vine is a native South Florida cousin of the passion fruit we love to eat. But this passiflora is all about the butterflies, and our 4 local species chose the corky stem leaf buffet before all others. Corky stem passion vine can grow in full sun or shade, and has survived the Home Depotification of our Miami lawns by hiding in the fringes and growing amongst the otherwise unaccommodating hedge plants of many Miami neighborhoods. Corky stem's here. It's queer. Get to know it. And like many plants, the trans-led Miami Seed Share is happy to freely help you propagate this host plant to grow in your ecosystem. if that's a balcony, stoop, or yard. And remember, caterpillars eat leaves from a host plant. Butterflies consume nectar from flowers. Miami Seed Share can help you with both. Follow Miami Seed Share to learn more. We're a zero-carbon, not-for-profit, growing resource for all of Miami. And join us for free workshops and events. Plus, explore a public seed collection, always stocked with the seeds for the current growing season, and free for everyone who agrees with the Miami Seed Share Honor Pledge, which is how we keep these public resources sustainable. From the queer nature of Miami, until we next meet, find some time and take a seat to enjoy the life between the cracks and concrete.
Corrine is just incredible. Her talking about the queer butterflies just made me feel all warm inside. So Corrine, Corrine's an adoring daughter of our planet and a passionate mother to plants, founder and director of Your Miami Seed Share, as you saw her speak about it. So make sure that you go and support her on her Instagram and Facebook. She's fabulous and she's got a lot more in store for us in future segments, so don't miss that. Follow her right now on social media at Miami Seed Share on Instagram. So it's time for our funny segment dance. What do you meme? What do you meme? I've been trying to perfect that look. I'll get it, all right? So here's a look at some of the funniest gay memes out there, and here we go. Here's our first one. When you're not out yet and people start asking if you got a boyfriend. Ugh, I hated when that happened to me. I would always tell them, like, he's overseas, or he's in jail, or no, then I just got over it. I'm gay! Kind of how it went, true story. Number 2, when a headless torso on Grindr asks for more pics without providing his face first. There's no photo because you don't deserve it. You know what kind of pics they're receiving? The D pics. I mean, maybe, I don't know, if there was a way that you could do a selfie with your penis. I don't know. Next, first attempt of making a mask from an old pair of shorts. How did I do? Loving the assless shorts. And I think that you did a pretty good job. Yeah, I think you did. Next, when you're home alone and finally get to be yourself. I love this meme. Captain Crunch right out the box. I mean, I would put the almond milk inside the box. Ahí mismo. Just like that. It'd be all good. Next, when men flirt with me. Sir, are you lost? Like, does it not say big lesbian on my forehead? Oh, maybe it says it on my chest because that's where you're looking, right? Next, parents. No girls at your sleepovers, understood? And the boys are like, yep, totally understand. Great with us. Next, I'm going to try and act like a normal, happy, mentally balanced person today. Wish me luck. My hair looks like that after a night partying with my friends. Yeah, my hair probably looks like that right now. Next, now if I could just teach you how to sniff out single lesbians. True story, I taught my pup to go to girls and lick their legs. Mal pensados. What were you guys thinking? Oh my goodness. Anyway, so what do you meme? That was it. If you have an idea or a story or a funny meme that you want to share with us, we would love to hear it. Cuéntanos, and it might be featured in one of our upcoming segments. Send them our way on our Instagram page. That's UCTV_Unity Coalition. So I wanted to end the show with a heartful shout out to all my Colombian LGBTQ brothers and sisters out there. As you guys know, I'm half Puerto Rican and half Colombian. And, as protests rocked Colombia last week over tax reforms, LGBTQ people were representing through the streets nationwide. Videos showed queer activists voguing their way to justice as part of a national strike that shut the country down. Trans women dancing in a plaza were met by police with riot shields in one video I saw. By mid-afternoon, the protests in Bogota had turned violent as protesters set fire to a police motorcycle and the police force shot tear gas into the crowd. It made me super sad. Violence was also reported in a lot of other cities nationwide as residents took to the streets. The Colombian protests are angry about the unpopular tax reforms, along with a number of other serious frustrations, from the progress of the peace process to environmental concerns. And after a year of closures, job losses, financial struggles for many Colombians, the tax reforms are rubbing salt in the wound, basically. But more so, it has provided a rallying cry and focus for people's COVID anger. But how can things not get out of control when many of these protests are powered by violent groups and left-wing politicians whose main goal is to take over the country through violence? Senator Gustavo Petro, with the help of Venezuela President Maduro and narco-terrorist groups, have taken advantage of the situation. They have been paying people off to go to the streets to vandalize and terrorize while hiding behind protests. Colombians, don't let the politicians use you while claiming your ignorance. Do you think that by destroying our beautiful country that you'll be heard? Will looting and setting fires get you free education for all or peace for all? We can never succeed by destroying schools and businesses that are people's livelihood. Banks, subways, bakeries, God, how would we get a pan de bono? No, seriously. Do we remember what happened in Venezuela and what they went through and what they're still trying to recapture? Colombia, we stand with you. Estamos con ustedes. This is just my own personal thoughts, but I will say that all of us here at UCTV are praying for peace in Colombia. Bueno, that's all, folks. Eso es todo, and what a show. I want to say thank you to our beautiful guests, Shay Zaret and Rachel Simpson, Corrine Mariposa, John and Kashai for filling us in on all things Caoba. And of course, to those behind the cameras that really make this show happen. Luis Flores, our producer and director, David Fernandez, our project manager, and our very own Herb Sosa, executive producer. Please join us next week. Next week, we'll have another incredible show that you won't want to miss. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and like us on YouTube and Instagram. Catch me on Faye What on YouTube and all social media outlets as well. I love to hear from you. Yo soy Faye What? Los veo la próxima semana, aquí mismo, on UCTV. Cuídense uno al otro.
Unity Coalition, Coalition Unida, is advancing equality and fairness for the Hispanic and Indigenous LGBTQ community through education, leadership, and resources since 2002.
UCTV, our weekly online show, bringing you all the best of our organization, the LGBTQ plus community, and our allies.
Celebrate Orgullo is South Florida's Hispanic and Indigenous Pride Festival.
15 días llenos de arte, cultura, comunidad, música y mucho más.
Every October,
Celebrate Orgullo.
Unity and diversity.
Elevate. A day of workshops, tools, and being nicer to yourself, each other, and the planet. Hey, what are you doing?
I'm being nicer to you, Houston.
And the planet.
And the planet.
Every year, we celebrate our Trans Art Conference and Art Lab Gallery for the trans and non-binary community.
all inclusive. Our Microgiving Incubator Fund provides funding and mentoring for startup businesses and continued education to help you achieve your goals. Giving back.
Not only do we support our community in South Florida, we also do work in Colombia and in South America.
Con recursos comunitarios, mucha ayuda, educación para nuestra comunidad más vulnerable, estamos también dando equipos de bioseguridad, pero sobre todo mucho amor.
Unity Coalition, Coalición Unida, es tu organización for the Latinx, Hispanic, Indigenous, and LGBTQ communities.
For more information, go to unitycoalition.org. That's unitycoalition.org.